you know what? I'm very, very happy for this guy because this is what we call a newer coach call. We do this from time to time just to show what's possible out there, that you can come in and start working the business and start gaining success by doing some fundamental things. So I'm going to talk him through this on what he did, how he got started, and what he did to start gaining some traction. It's a great time right now to get your new coaches on the call. So please tag your new coaches because want to make sure that you're on the right track. Or if you're not on the right track, hey, here's some great ideas for you to follow. So want to give him the proper introduction. He started just a little over a year ago, and he is currently a diamond coach. So we probably read off his name a few months back because he hit diamond back in August. He's a Success Club 10 All-Star. Now, what that means is that he's hit Success Club every month for at least 12 months in the row. That makes you an all-star. He's hit it 14 months, which is how long he's been a coach. So he has focused on helping at least 3 new people every single month. He's also earned the team. He's a team builder right now, and he is from Lexington, Kentucky. Please welcome everybody, Tate Cox. Well, hello there, my friend.
Hey, Sandy. Good morning.
Good morning. So are you fired up for this call?
I'm fired up. I'm ready to go. So
I'm really happy. Your setting looks great. I know that you got yourself a ring light. So you know what? You're in business now.
I've got my laptop stacked up on some textbooks and I'm ready to go. So.
All right. Well, that's what textbooks are for, is to hold up our laptop. Anyway. Okay. So about a little over a year ago, you came to Beachbody. Why don't you share with everybody what brought you here? What attracted you to the business? And I'll get out of the way.
Yeah. So before I get started, I just have to take a second and say thank you all for this opportunity. I'm just truly grateful to be speaking on this call and just for all the people that have made this journey possible. So I'm going to dive in and talk a little bit about, or tell you a little bit about myself, first of all. Again, my name is Tate Cox. I am from Lexington, Kentucky, and I live here with my wife, and we've been married almost 5 years. On May 30th will be our 5th year anniversary. We have a golden doodle named Archie, and what I do full time for a job, I work in a family grocery business. So back in the early 80s, my dad started a grocery company, and unfortunately about 15 years ago my dad was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease, and I was only about 13 or 14 years old at the time, and now he is at the stage where he requires full-time nursing care. So he is in a nursing facility close to our house, but I am responsible for taking care of him, his personal finances, and now I have kind of stepped into his role in his 6-store grocery company. So that's what I do full time. And then I just, again, like Sandy said, just over a year ago, started this Beachbody journey. And I've always had a passion for health and fitness. In fact, I went to my undergraduate degree is in exercise science. I've got a master's degree in sport leadership. But after graduating from school and kind of going into that grocery business, I never really knew if I was going to be able to get back into the field that I was truly passionate about. And I never in a million years thought I would end up in network marketing. Like, I honestly had no clue what network marketing was. I didn't know anything about the whole pyramid system. I didn't know anything about that. But how I got into Beachbody about a year and a half ago, I was experiencing, I'm the type of person that I would consider myself kind of a gym rat back in the day. So I played college sports, and then after that, I just continued to work out. And I was one of those people that would go to the gym for 2 hours a day and try to lift heavy weights, do all the things. And unfortunately, that started taking a toll on my body. And I was waking up in the morning sometimes with such severe neck and low back pain that like I couldn't even turn my head. And I can remember going to my wife one day and just saying, you know, I've got to find some kind of programs, some kind of fitness routine that I can do to stay healthy, still get the results that I want without being in pain. And fortunately, my wife had been a Beachbody On Demand member, a quarterly subscription member for about 2 years. And she did the programs periodically in our basement. And so she's like, you know what, why don't you give these a try? So I searched through the library one evening and I found this program called Body Beast. And I was like, all right, you know what, this looks like something I might be able to do. So I immediately jumped into it, and I could not believe the results I was getting in only 1 to 2 weeks doing this program. I mean, especially from somebody who had been in the gym for 2-ish hours a day, like getting to use dumbbells only and only working out 30 to 50 minutes in a day. Like I was just so pumped. And I can remember being at like a church event and actually talking to some other guys about, you know, this program is just, it's unbelievable. And I couldn't believe the results I was getting. So long story short, I ended up going through the 12 weeks of Body Beast, loved the results I was getting, absolutely just fell in love with the programs and the products. And I can remember this was on February 14th, so Valentine's Day of last year, 2019. I'm sitting on the couch with my wife and I look over and she's on Instagram, kind of scrolling through her feed, looking through some stories. And at the time she had followed some of what I would consider the top coaches in the network. I didn't really know anything about the coach opportunity, but I saw her watching these stories, and it's these coaches talking about their workouts and their coaching journey and all of these things. And this was nothing against any of those coaches, but as I was watching those, I was like, you know what, if they can do that, like why can't I do that? Why not me? So I literally made a decision that night that I was going to give this coaching gig a try. And I didn't know really how to get started or how to get signed up. And I didn't know very many coaches at all that were in this business. And I didn't know any males at all. So that night I literally Google searched top male Beachbody coaches, and a couple of different names came up. And I remember going to their Instagrams and I filled out one of the questionnaires on there. And the very next day that coach called me. We had about a 45-minute conversation and I got signed up that day. And that coach just happens to be Scottie Hobbs, who has been an absolute great mentor, leader, and more importantly, a great friend. So
that is a great story. And, you know, I was thinking about network marketing because you said you had no idea what that was. And it's like really turning now to be a noble profession. And it's like nursing, you know, we look at nurses now as like, wow, that is a noble profession. And when people say network marketing, we've got to change the narrative so that it's not like feeling icky, because what you're doing is not selling candles, right? You are helping people like you helped yourself. So this is a great segue into, okay, so you signed up, then what? What was the first thing that you did? What direction were you pointed into?
Yeah, so I believe one of the things that I did from the start was that I developed a belief in these programs. And I know it may sound cliche, but I feel like I made sure that I was proof that the products work. So that number one, vital behavior. But I went through that 12-week program, and like I mentioned earlier, I was super skeptical about an at-home fitness plan. Like I knew that I could get in shape from doing an at-home workout program, but I really didn't know that, like, if I could go through an at-home program and actually get strong and develop muscles and have a physique and all of those things that I really wanted to have. Like I didn't just want to be super skinny. I wanted a program that was going to be effective for me. So as I went through that 12-week program, you know, I learned all about it. I developed that belief, and then I started sharing that belief with other people. And I'm just going to jump on into number two, Sandy. And in sharing that belief, I've been very social. And one thing that my coach told me from day one was the reason that some coaches fail in this business is because they allow their ego to get in the way. And that really just like hit home for me when I first started, because that was the very thing that was holding me back from doing everything that I wanted to do in this business. And I just made the decision that day that my desire to succeed far outweighed my fear of failure. And I was going to do whatever it took to make sure that I succeeded in this business, because I'm just one of those people that when I do something, I go all in, I give it my best. And that's what I've done. So as far as being social, I've really made a conscious effort to show up in my stories and in my posts on Instagram and Facebook every single day. I show up with at least 5 to 10 stories a day, and I make sure that I post at least once a day. And early on in my business, I heard a coach say that you should kind of configure your stories almost like a television show. And that's what I've tried to do. So I'll do like my workouts or talk about the business for a few different segments of my stories. And then I'll interrupt that with a commercial and maybe talk about or show my daily life. And then I'll get back to my workouts and talking about the business. And that's literally how I set up my stories every single day. And then as far as my posts go, I just try to center my posts around the 5 things that make me who I am. So those are the things that I try to post about. So that's pretty much what I try to post about and be social on, Sandy.
Well, I think the difference with you though is that, and I'm not saying difference, but this whole thing about you being a commercial, I think that was like a cadence for you, and also to give you some kind of framework of what to share. But you're a very polite guy, and you're very real, and that is different than being very salesy. Right. So I'm just thinking that even from the beginning of this call, when you shared your appreciation for this opportunity, I can tell that you are respectful and polite, and that comes off in the way that you're sharing, which is such a great way to look at network marketing. It doesn't have to be like, I'm here to make the sale. It was that you got results from the product and you wanted to tell everybody because it was so important to you, to share that. So I just wanted to accentuate that a little bit. So let's talk a little bit about what did you have the skills to get started as a coach, or did you feel like you needed to brush up on something in order to advance? Like you were just on social, which I know wasn't comfortable for you at first, but where was an area that you felt you needed a little bit more development before moving on?
Yeah, absolutely. So one thing that I tell people all the time is that I have grown more in the last 15 months in this business than I've grown in any other 15-month period in my entire life. And I dedicate that solely to the personal development and growth that I've experienced through this business. So something that I've really tried to make a conscious effort of every single day is to dive into 10 pages of a life-changing or motivating book, or to listen to a podcast. And I think one thing that, if this personal development thing has done anything for me, it's helped me turn my downtime into my uptime. So when I'm driving to work, to the grocery store, like I'm listening to a life-changing podcast. Or when I'm at home, I try to dive into a book versus just scrolling through Instagram or watching television. And there are so many different areas that I have jumped into on this personal development growth plan. And for example, if I want to learn something about leadership, maybe I jump into to a John Maxwell book or a podcast. If I want to learn more about network marketing or just business principles and practices in general, maybe I'm going to listen to or read something from Josh Coates. Some of the things that I listened to really early on in my business were the 90 Days to Excellence calls by Craig Holliday. And those are things that I still listen to this day. And they've been life-changing, not only for our business, but for my life, and helping me become the person that I want to become. So all of those things have been very critical in helping me move this business forward. And how I kind of go about picking and choosing what I want to dive into next really just depends on what I feel like I'm struggling with at the time. So maybe if I feel like I need to expand or learn more about creating a vision, I'll dive into something with that. Or if I need to focus strictly on mindset, maybe I'll dive into that. But every single month, I'm just kind of diving into new things. And I know that in order for our team to grow, that I have to continue to grow. So that's one way that I've really dove into my personal development.
So I guess by you saying that you're part of a team, you don't want to let the team down now. So you're looking at developing yourself so that you can pull your weight, so to speak. I'm just thinking that you just mentioned two of the vital behaviors. So you're a product of the products, right? Your belief in the product, and also your interest in personal development to improve in the areas that you want improvement in. Let's talk about what you're actually doing in the business that is actually creating some success for you. Let's talk challenge groups. How did you get started? Where did you go first? How important do you think challenge groups are? Go ahead.
Yeah. So when I first started, honestly, I had no idea how to run a challenge group. Like, I can remember my wife specifically being like, you need to go run these challenge groups. Like, this is how you do it. And she was literally coaching me through how to run this challenge group. And so from day one, I just started doing things and taking action. And that's one thing that I think I learned early on in this business, is that this is 100% a do and then learn business, because I'm still learning something every single day. And so from day one, I have really tried to host or organize challenge groups. And for me, what seems to work best for me is I make sure that I'm running a group that I am currently doing for the month. And then I try to add at least one more group that month, because I know that those groups give me a recruiting tool. It gives me a thing that I can invite people to join me in. And it also is, I know it's the best way to help get people results. So that's why I know challenge groups are so important, and they've been so important in helping move our business forward. And today we actually start a new challenge group. I started a Transform 20 group. And really the reason that I decided to pick that group is, with this entire pandemic and things going on, people are struggling to get access to weights and dumbbells right now. So I thought, you know what, let's try to do something that we can recruit people to, that they don't have to have all of this equipment for. So today is supposed to start my first bod group. So I'm very excited to see how all of that goes. But yeah, the challenge groups are something that I've really tried to incorporate from day one as well.
So I have a question about that, because when you first started and you went with Body Beast, so did you start doing challenge groups with Body Beast, or did you start venturing out to other programs that you were trying out?
Yeah, so I really started venturing out into other programs. So I think like the first group I actually ever started was probably a 21-day fixed group. And I realized early on that everybody may not want the same results that I want, and that my job is to help them get the results that they want. So being able to offer different programs that can help people, join in. And I love that 21-day fixed plan, because it also comes with the portion control containers and just helps everybody get that total solution. So that was one reason that I started with that.
Were you part of the million marks today on like Insanity or A Little Obsessed or UV2? Have you done any of those?
Not quite.
Okay,
I did Insanity a while back, but.
Okay, so you're helping the millions in other places. Okay, what about who or what inspired you in best practices? I know you said when you came on board, you were following, you Googled top male coach, but after that, like, where have you been getting some inspiration and some leadership?
Yeah, so this one, and I could say this about everything that I talk about today as being extremely important, but I think this has been one of the most important things for our business and helping us grow. So one thing I've really tried to do is make it a habit of following some of the top coaches in the network. And obviously I was extremely fortunate to join under a guy like Scottie Hobbs, to get to see what he does on a daily basis. And then, you look at his upline and Lindsay Matway and what everything she has accomplished. But on top of those two people, I think about people like David Atkins and getting to watch his stories, his inspiration, his motivation every single day. Thinking about coaches like Melanie Mitro and what she does. I can remember when I first started watching a How to Recruit Coaches video by Ashley Molstead. And that is something that I still implement in my business today. as well as a curiosity marketing video created by Raina Odell when I first started. And those are all things that I still do to this day. And then on top of that, we're surrounded, in our group, in our organization, with so many great, amazing coaches. For example, I get to work with coaches like Beth Isbell, who her and our team are currently ranked, I think, number 4 in the entire network. So I get to spit ideas off, of her and bounce ideas back and forth with each other. And I know that, when we talked, Sandy, you had asked me to mention something a little more specific on how I actually, use best practices and try to take the ideas and things and principles that those coaches are doing and implement them into my business. So one thing that we did a few weeks ago, again, Beth Isbell and her team was courteous enough to share with us something that they were implementing, which was a flash sale. And basically, long story short, they had taken 10 different bundle packages using the promotions that Beachbody was already giving us, inviting people into one big Facebook group, and then hosting a one-day flash sale, offering different incentives and all of those things. And it went over extremely well for them. And she was, again, nice enough to invite me into that group so I could see what was going on. But in that group, they had almost like over 700 people, like something, crazy, ridiculous. But I knew that we could use what they were doing, but I also knew that we couldn't reach quite as many people as they could because their team is so big and have so much influence. So what we decided to do was take those same ideas, create our own bundles. And we did it just a couple of Fridays ago using the Summer Strong sale that is already, Beachbody's already giving us an amazing promotion this month with $20 off all these challenge packs. So we decided to do a Flash Friday sale with our team, created 10 different bundles on our own, and then posted those to our Instagram stories and Facebook stories. And I know that weekend alone, it helped me get to SC10, and it helped a lot of our coaches earn more volume and earn Success Club points. And that's what the whole thing was designed to do to begin with. But just in saying that, that's been so important for me in helping me grow my business, is watching what the best of the best are doing and then figure out, okay, how can I implement that for our team?
You bring up a really good point for new coaches, because people feel like either they are too young and inexperienced, or they are they just don't know what to do. I had another thought. But what you're doing is you're watching what leaders are doing, and you're not just copying it. You are supporting it, and you're partnering with them, and you are also putting your own personality in. Nobody says you have to cut and paste what Raina Odell or Lindsay Matway or Beth Isbell are doing. No, but you're inspired by it. You're inspired to do something like it, and then you tweak it to make it your own, and you bring your own personality into it. So I love that advice, because it sounds like you've been hitting Success Club consistently. And I want to hear a little bit more about it, because I do have a question for you. How do you find people? And is it hard for you? And how are you consistently finding new people to help each month?
Yeah, so since I've started, I've made a conscious, consistent effort to reach out to new people on a daily basis. I really struggled with this idea at first when I first got started, because I think a lot of new coaches kind of go through this period where they kind of use their, what I call, hot market, and then it's like they almost just run out of people to talk to. But one thing that I really struggled with at first was this idea, or whenever I would reach out to people, thinking that I was being like aggravating to people. And when I first started, I decided to jump into a personal development book by Keith Callahan called Build to Last. And in that book, he talks about that what we have to offer is truly a gift. And after I read that, it really just kind of hit home with me that, I knew what these programs and products had done for me. So for me to not share that with somebody, that's honestly that's a crime in itself. Like, I needed to be reaching out and sharing this opportunity with other people. So I made it, a daily goal of mine to reach out to new people on a consistent basis. And I spend anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour every single day reaching out or following up with a lot of new people, or people that, potential customers and coaches that I've been having conversations with. And I'm going to dive into a little bit of a script that I use for brand new followers or brand new content supporters. And again, this can actually go back to the thing that I talked about before in using best practices, because last year I heard David Atkins give a great call on this national wake up call. And this is something that I kind of honestly took from him and then reworded it to fit what worked for me. And it just goes like this. It just says, "Hey, so-and-so, I just wanted to reach out and say thank you for your follow or supporting my content. My wife and I always tag my wife so that people know that I'm married, that I'm not just trying to slide into their DMs, enjoy helping others reach their health and fitness goals. We know some people like to follow along for fun, and others are interested in what we do but are nervous to reach out. Please let us know if you'd ever be interested in doing a program with us. We would love to give you more info if so." So basically just coming up with that little script that didn't come off as super slimy or icky, and just allowing me to reach out to people in my own personal way and creating those new conversations.
I think it's interesting how you came on board, because you had a conversation with Scottie. So it is that personal touch, and that is what you're giving. I also want to mention that in this whole entire call, you have not said once, well, because I'm a guy, it's a little harder, or because I'm a guy, we do things differently. I love the fact that it doesn't matter that you're a dude in the business, and we're getting more and more dudes in the business, because it's not my I hope you don't hear, my dog keeps barking, but it is really not about that is how the ladies are doing it on social, or that is how women are doing it. You got results with a product. You shared those results. You're working on yourself with personal development. You're inviting to challenge groups. You are doing everything that the vital behaviors are. It's not gender specific. You are showing that you can help people every month, new people, just by being who you are and sharing what you do. And because you didn't know what to do, you followed leaders, not only guys, you followed women, you followed the guys, and you're starting to develop your own rhythm, which is really, really important for new coaches, because, share what you can from leaders that you respect and admire until it starts becoming a habit of your own. And then you can make it your own, and people will be taking your scripts, Tate, in a year or so, like you listened to David Atkins, and they'll be saying, man, I heard Tate say this on the call, and I think that could work for me. So I really appreciate you being so honest and showing us your journey. You're on your way. This is not a call about someone who has been, 8 years in the business. This is someone a year in the business who's on their way to great success. Income disclaimer right here. I want to ask you, Tate, in the year and a couple months that you have been a coach, what has changed for you? How do you feel about coaching today?
Yeah, so this business in general has completely changed my life in so many ways. Before Beachbody, like, my life was good. Like, I have an amazing family. I love the work that I do. So everything was good, but there was something that just seemed to be missing from my life. Like, if you've ever listened to those Craig Holiday calls, I feel like I was kind of born with that DNA, that determined natural ambition that someday, some way, I'm going to do something great with my life. And this business gave me an opportunity to truly add value to people's lives and the ability to create success and significance at the same time. And I just couldn't be more thankful and more appreciative of that. And to see these customers, start to make transformations, and to see their confidence start to grow. And what I say, to see our coaches start to, what I just call, get it, when they start to understand or realize that there's so much more to life than they even realize, and they are capable of so much more than they ever thought was possible. And I know that because it happened, the same thing happened to me. And to be able to pass that on is just so fulfilling. And to be able to watch, these coaches, when I hop on one-on-one calls with them and to see tears coming down their faces when they talk about they get to spend more time with their families or more time with their children, or this income helped put gas in their car this month or get groceries for them. Like, that's what makes this entire thing so special. I have an ultimate end goal to be able to bring my wife home from work through this business, and I fully plan on doing that very soon. But that's just an added perk to everything that this business has to offer. Like, we have an amazing platform to go out and change lives, and in turn change the world. And I will never, ever, ever take that for granted.
That was so beautiful how you said, someday I'm going to make something of my life. You're doing it right now. I mean, this is, I'm really excited that we're seeing you on your way here. And I appreciate you sharing from the heart. And thank you so much, Tate. Great working with you. Great meeting you.
Thank you so much.
So right when Tate said that, it was so weird. He said, someday I'm going to make something of myself. Look what happened. Look what I had. Someday is right now. It's Monday. That is when people start, right? Monday is the day you start. Well, why not right now? Why not start that project, that healthy meal plan, that workout? It's right now. Don't worry about someday I'm going to be something. Do it now. Anyway, we are good to go. I will see you all here next week. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Bye-bye.